Each morning I wake up and I sit in front of this window, looking out at the mountain in front of my house. I greet her as if she's an old friend, one that I meet each morning for our first sip of coffee under the morning rays. And each day, she appears different, as if she was turning up with a different character makeup each sunrise, a different personality. And some mornings, she's basking in the sun, in the summer sun, illuminated by the sun's blissful rays. Each tree appearing brighter than I've ever seen them before. The colours of their leaves glowing, full of life. Full of life. And yet other days she is mysteriously withdrawn. The mountain top covered by layers of fog that hide her nature. The colours of her land greyed by the sky. The heart of her soul sullen, subdued, and yet peacefully alive all at once. I watch her change before my eyes as the rain comes in and the fog lifts, as the sunlight reaches her, even for a split second, and then disappears again. As the winds rustle her trees and the rain drenches her soil, as her leaves change colour with each season, and yet she always remains the same, always remains this unwavering soul, this presence of beauty. And some days I just sit and watch her. And I watch her change before my eyes from one moment to the next. Unjudged, unconditional. Just fully accepting of however she meets me each morning, knowing that nothing is permanent. Everything changes. The mounting, unknown to her, teaches me many things. The silence of her nature can easily be missed every day. But to me, there's this unspoken knowledge, this wisdom pouring out from her presence. The acceptance of change, the active intention to allow change in myself. And she mirrors to me each morning that it's okay to fluctuate, to change moods, to feel joyful one day and just to feel sad the next. For my body to fluctuate, to have boundless energy and also long periods of rest. To go to bed on top of my game and then wake up feeling this impounding doom. To change my style, to change my interests, to change my intentions and my attention on my morals. And she teaches me that full acceptance of whatever and whoever I am in every moment, however I decide to show up each morning, that it's okay. And she teaches me that through every characteristic emotional change, there's always a heart and a soul grounded in who they are, beneath the surface level fluctuations. This thread and this knowing, this deep grounded feeling of exactly who they are. And that is what she reminds me of every single morning. One of the most valuable lessons that I feel that I learnt was that your past and who you were, that version of you or versions of you that got you through that time in your life, that pulled you through, that helped you survive, that they don't have to be who you are today. And that really making peace with those versions, surrendering those versions, allowing yourself to see that you can be whoever you want to be in any moment, really gives you that freedom to allow those past versions of you to lie in peace. I remember being so reactive. I was always this fighter, not in the physical sense, but I was always fighting for something. Everything in life was hard. I always had resistance against things. And growing up and having an eating disorder, I was always fighting for control, fighting for my own inner control, fighting for my external control, and then fighting for my life, fighting against the people who were trying to save me. And then because I dropped out of school to go and get treatment, I was fighting to get my studies back on track. And then later in life, I was struggling in relationships. I spent 16 years in two very volatile, violent, mentally abusive relationships that I was fighting to survive, fighting to be loved. And all along, I was fighting myself because I couldn't love and accept myself. So all these outward versions of me that were very reactive, very spontaneous, I was very angry. But I was angry within, and it was coming out in how I lived my life. And really making peace with those past versions of me allowed me to see that I'm not that person. I'm not that person that is reactive and thinks life is against them. But really at that time in my life, I didn't know how to process my emotions. I didn't know how to be any other way because that's all I was capable of. That young little girl, that's all she knew. She didn't have the knowledge or the experience or the facilities to be able to see that there was another way of just processing those emotions, allowing them to go, working them through myself and feeling them. It all comes down that I was too frightened to feel my feelings. So the outward pushing away, the fighting of life, was me fighting my own inner emotions to push them away, push them down, keep them at bay. So knowing that whatever versions of you that you were in the past or that people think you are or that you associate with was just all you knew at that time in your life. One of my mentors said this the other day, and I thought it was fantastic at just describing healing. And it was that, and I might get this muddled up slightly, but the battle to freedom is always won on the same battlefield as the war. So whatever we're feeling, whatever emotions we're feeling, wherever the resistance is exactly the same place that you will find freedom. Because to work through the obstacle, the resistance, is exactly the path to making peace and freedom with whoever you thought you were. Whether you associate with being a quiet person, a reserved person, a reactive person, an angry person, someone who's really sensitive. Perhaps you were at a particular stage in your life, but it doesn't dictate who you can be or who you are today. Because we are always changing. We are never stagnant. We are never the same moment to moment. We are always changing. We shed our skin every month. Every month we have new skin. We are constantly shedding and constantly learning, evolving and growing. So who you were yesterday doesn't mean that you have to be that person today. So wherever you have felt resistance in the past, or whatever versions you have been in the past to help yourself get through a particular situation, an event, however you are with particular people in your life, doesn't mean that you are stigmatized to be that version. And making peace and allowing yourself to see that you can change, anyone can change, and you don't have to be what you think you're labeled as. Feelings are not facts. And thoughts are not facts. How we are designed to think is to look out for danger. We're constantly surveying our environment, surveying our life, surveying what people say and how people react, to look for danger to keep us safe. And even our thoughts are, in a way, twisted way, trying to keep us safe. The judgment, the doubt, the restriction, the holding back. It's all because change is scary and our system doesn't want to change. We want stability. We want to know the future. We want to know that it's stable and trustworthy. But nothing is, because no one knows the future. No one knows what's going to happen. And that's scary. Change can be scary. Change requires us to step up and step into a new version of us, to up level, to grow, to change, to expand, to allow more knowledge in, and to let what doesn't serve us, just let it go. But when we've built these passions and interests and loves and fears and stories around this version of us that we no longer are, that's scary to let go when you have built this life and this persona around this person that no longer suits you and no longer serves you, that you don't even recognize. But the beautiful thing is that you get to choose to let them go. You get to choose to let them rest in peace, knowing that whoever you're meant to be might be unknown, it might be scary, it might be beyond your reach right now, but that you'll never experience or get to know them, get to know their interests, their fears, their judgments, their passions, what sparks their joy, unless you allow the older version of you to go. So the new version of you is going to cost you your old one. And that the new version of you is going to cost you the old one. Your new life is going to cost you your old one. It's going to cost you your comfort zone and your sense of direction. It's going to cost you your relationships and friends. It's going to cost you being liked and understood. It doesn't matter. The people who are meant for you are going to meet you on the other side. You're going to build a new comfort zone around the things that actually move you forward. Instead of being liked, you're going to be loved. Instead of being understood, you're going to be seen. All you're going to lose is what was built for a person you no longer are.